latest sports headlines and some of the exciting behind-the-scenes stories on the sports front. We have Park Jae Min joining us in the studio. Good morning, Jae Min.
Good morning, I'm back. It's Wednesday! Yay! Hooray!
I was thinking,
why is it Wednesday?
I was thinking why you weren't waving your hands today.
I'm waving right now. I'm here, guys.
Okay, let's get right into it. What's the first topic for today?
Yes, last week we talked about Ladies' Power, and we talked about Captain Marvel. So let's begin another week talking about the Ladies' Power.
Okay.
In a few weeks, Susie Cool and Melanie Newman will take their places behind the microphones for the Class A Advanced Salem Red Sox and become the first ever all-female broadcasting team in baseball history for MLB. This is big news. It's an arrangement that almost didn't happen in human history. Salem's broadcasting department was headed for a change at the end of last season, and after Susie Cool became the first woman broadcaster in the Carolina League last year, she'll make history again this season, partnering in the booth with Melanie Newman to make the first all-female broadcast team in professional baseball league. So
we're talking about the big leagues here. But I'm curious, are they the first woman broadcaster in the sport?
I mean, well, there were some examples, or there were some events that female actually did broadcast on nationwide TV. In 2015, Mendoza became the first woman to be the national television analyst for Major League Baseball games. She joined ESPN in 2007, made history in 2015 as the first woman to appear on a postseason game broadcast. And now the New York Mets hired ESPN broadcaster Jessica Mendoza as an operations advisor. And even before then, we had Gail Gardner, who was the first female play-by-play announcer on a telecast for the Major League team in 1993. That was more than 20 years ago. And Susan Waldman does occasional play-by-play for the Yankees on the radio. And last year also we had Jenny Cavnar, who became the first woman since 1993 to do play-by-play on a big league telecast. Well, so it did happen several times, but it never had the continuous momentum.
So it was on an occasional basis.
Yes.
Okay, so these women are the ones making history, becoming the ones to create this first all-female booth.
Yes, very true.
But tell us more about the significance of this development.
Yeah, I mean, well, sports traditionally has been male-dominant activity.
Right.
So when we talk about sports, we always think about what comes up in your mind first. It's macho. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna rule this game. Something like that.
Except for things like gymnastics or figure skating.
Yeah, like genetically or physically, male is stronger in some ways, like muscle or like speed. Male is stronger. So male dominated this activity, but and also, in some part, female was actually prohibited. But it's 2019. It's 2019. Things has to change.
Right.
And I really kind of feel kind of sad about these kind of news are really special in the sports scene.
But it shouldn't be special.
It shouldn't be. It should be normal. It should be more naturally absorbed to us that, okay, so Mendoza is, she's commentating on TV for Major League Baseball. So it's nothing special. So I hope this type of news will be the last time for me to announce on the radio that someone is actually, taking part of broadcasting system as a commentator.
And we'll see more of these female broadcasters in the sports world as well.
Yes.
And what's up next?
So switching gears to sports and politics. Sports and politics, this is something that they should never collaborate.
Right.
Yep.
It gets messy when you do.
It really gets. So South Korean football club Gyeongnam FC were penalized by the nation's pro football league operator on Tuesday after they failed to stop a political party campaigning inside their home stadium last week. The K-League, which is a professional football league in Korea, discipline committee meted out a fine of 20 million won, which is approximately 17,000 US dollars, against Gyeongnam FC for not handling the situation properly when the main opposition Liberty Korea Party, which is also known as LKP, members campaigning inside the stadium. So the reason was because political neutrality is important in all sports. So under K-League and KFA rules, election candidates and party officials can enter the stadium. It's allowed after purchasing a ticket at their own expense. It should never be sponsored by someone else. But they cannot wear any clothing displaying a candidate's number or name, their party name, or emblem inside the stadium. The league's code of conduct emphasizes that its member must maintain political neutrality, which is in the line with FIFA and KFA ordinances that strictly ban any kind of political, religious, this is really important, political, religious, and racial activities inside the match venue. So it should be kicked out.
Right. So preserving this political neutrality in the sports venues is not just restricted to football or to Korea. Doesn't it happen in international matches as well?
Yes. In all sports, prohibited. And actually, for football discipline, this actually happened in the Olympic Games. So Park Jae Min, a South Korean soccer player who represented Korea, was barred from receiving his bronze medal at the 2012 London Olympic Games for displaying a sign with a political message after victory over Japan in the third place game, the small finals. So Park held up a sign after South Korea's 2-0 victory over Japan, claiming Dokdo is our territory. This is kind of like a famous slogan in Korea. We always have, have those kind of slogans in our mind. But this board was actually given from one of the audience. So he didn't prepare that. So after the victory, he received that board from one of the audience, and he, raised it up high in the air. And that was a political message. So Park faced investigations by both the International Olympic Committee, IOC, and FIFA, both of which strictly enforced rules forbidding athletes from making political statement on the field.
So even if it was something that you didn't prepare in advance?
No. No, even though we prepared or not, doesn't matter. Sending a message inside the stadium, on the field, at the sports scene, it's just kicked out. I mean, we all do have some messages that you want to speak out, and you want to, let people know in the public. I mean, it's worldwide television broadcasted, live stream, but still, sports has to be separated from politics.
That's how strict that it gets on the sports front when it comes to all these political messages getting stripped of your medal
it's
title.
a fair play.
Okay, let's now take a song break before we continue on with our sports talk. Here's Kim Yeonu and Cha Ji-yeon singing When You Cry, When You Smile.
Oh, nice.
Joining me in the studio for our sports segment. So you introduce a sport to us and its history every week.
Yes.
What's the sport for this week?
Okay, so there's my favorite quote. People are always afraid of what's different. That's why we are, we feel afraid about female broadcasting, on TV, commentating. Something new, something different is always what we feel fear.
And uncomfortable.
And we always think about, what's different. So this quote comes from the movie Cool Running. So we're going to talk about bobsleigh today.
Okay.
So although the sled has been around for centuries as a mode of transportation or as a toy, the sports of bobsleigh didn't begin until the late 19th century when the Swiss attached the steering mechanism to a toboggan.
Oh, so it all began in the 19th century.
Yes, in 1897, the world's first bobsleigh club was founded in St. Moritz, Switzerland. So this is made in Switzerland. Spurring the growth of the sports in winter resorts throughout Europe. And by 1914, bobsled races were taking place on a wide variety of natural ice courses. So a lot of people think as bobsleigh is based on ice, but originally it's on snow discipline because you have to you need a momentum. So this was played on a snowy mountain. So a lot of people think as this is a type of a skate, but it's actually type of a ski.
Don't they have this kind of a round path where the sled passes by?
Yes, that was kind of advanced course.
Okay.
Before then, it was just,
All
vast,
snow.
vast land with all snow.
Uh-huh.
So, in the cool running, so some regulations came up in the mid 20th century. In the cool running, the coach of the Jamaica national bobsleigh team carried an extra sandbag on the bob when he was an active racer back then and gets suspended. So this is actually based on a real story. By the 1950s, the critical importance of the start has been recognized, and athletes with explosive strength from other sports were drawn to bobsledding. So in 1952, a critical road change limiting the total weight of crew and sled ended the era of the super heavyweight bobsledder and, so on and so on in the sports and athlete contest. So weight is regulated and everything is regulated. So bobsled is type of how strong you can push.
But there are more than one player on one sled, right?
Yes, so if your head is down, that's skeleton, that's called skeleton.
Right,
and if you lie down with your back on the sled, that's luge. And there's 2-member bobsleigh and also 4-member bobsleigh. So cool running is actually based on a story about the Jamaican bobsleigh team, based on 4 bobsleigh national team, which they actually did really well in the first appearance in the Olympic Games. And unfortunately, the bob actually, kind of flipped, and they had to finish the race without the bob. They went off the bob and walked through the finish line. So this really showed sports is something, not only the record or not, winning the medal or not winning the first place. It's something that you challenge, you finish the game with a fair play, and you achieve something that you never have made until now.
But they must have been disqualified when they just passed the finish line without the bob or the sled.
That is true. It was disqualified, but still they finished the race even without the bob. So whenever something you face something that you need to challenge and you feel afraid of it, just go for it. Just do it. That's why sports is so amazing.
Always ending with this word of wisdom that we can take from sports.
I mean, we can learn so many lessons from sports. Sports is something really you feel tired of, you feel exhausted. I mean, after a sports activity, what do? You sleep. It's tiring.
That's for
we all know that.
I was asking Jimin what he does when he goes home, and he said he just sleeps.
I sleep. After those type of sports activity, I feel tired, but still, I achieve something. And every single day is a challenge for me.
I think we should make a list of all the things you say, the lessons we can learn from sports.
That's me, Mr. Coach, Mr. Jamin Park.
Okay, well, thank you, Jimin, for that piece of wisdom or lesson for today.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
Okay, that does it for today. Before we go, a quick thank you to our listeners and staff, producer Chajun Mi, writers Yoon Sun and Yoon Se-young, and engineers Chun Yi-sam and Lee Jong-han. I'll be back here tomorrow morning at the same time, same place. We have Vanilla Lucy taking us out today with Sky in My Heart. Don't forget, today's what matters.